Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus and Coleus. Okay, we're just, like I said, we're getting the juices flowing. The germinations are doing really well. I got my heat mats off, have the top popped over. I looked over each of the pods and added a teaspoon of water to any of them that looked a little dry. If they look browner to you or feel them, add a little water. I'm going to show you in a second. Two things. I just purchased a Clementine tree. It's about 4 foot tall, so I just finished potting it. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And while I'm out here, got a little bit of some spring fever because in New Jersey we've been really blessed this winter with a warm winter. I mean, we're not jumping in the pool or anything like that, but it's been relative, no snow. It's been in the 50s, high 40s, 65 some days. So anyway, been meaning to get this colossal marble in the pot, and while I had the potting mixture out and so forth, I'm going to put this colossal marble in the pot. I just trimmed it a little. It was getting a little overgrown. It's really responding. It's starting to wake up because of the location inside I have it. So let's take a real quick look, show you how I'm going to repot this, get it ready for the spring. Okay, so if you've been following along, you recognize this is beautiful. This is such a beautiful plant. This is left over from last year, and I just trimmed it, but this is a magnificently healthy Coleus. I'm gonna get rid of some of this, but we're gonna repot it because it's in a really small pot. I had mentioned, if you've been following along, you recognize this plant. I had mentioned I was gonna repot it at one point, but it's time. I already have the potting stuff out, and I was like, you know what, it's nice out today. I'm not gonna keep it outdoors. Although it is hardened already for the outdoors, it's still way too chilly to put anything outside. But if you're not familiar with hardening is putting your plants, your younger plants, out later on in the season for a few hours a day to get them used to this, the wind, the fluctuating temperatures and conditions of being outdoors, as opposed to the relaxed calmness of being indoors. So, but we'll get into that later. That's hardening your Coleus. We'll get into that later. But anyway, let's get this thing potted. What I did is just chose I didn't want to go to a big pot because it's still indoors. So I went up a little bit, dug a hole in the center, and I actually placed the pot in here to give me an idea how far down we want to go. And we will tap this pot and put it in the pot and repot it. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully this will show up real well. Got the pot. Now I'm just gonna kind of just tap it around the sides, and this thing should pop right out. And actually this is going to be good. And don't worry about really doing any major damage. You're not going to be damaging the roots, but they may be a little bit, especially because it's been in there so many months. Hopefully we'll get this thing popped out. All right, and we got a little bit of soil in there, so I'm not worried, but you can see, hopefully this shows up, we've got a pretty extensive root ball. All right, so now not all of the soil popped out, so we're gonna kind of make up for that, throw it in here. And we'll put the Coleus in here. I'm gonna remove a couple of the leaves on the bottom just to give me some working area. And I'm just gonna backfill in all around. Now, mistakes happen if you're going to be doing this and you break a stem. It's up to you what you want to do with that. You can root it, throw it out. If you have enough, you can put it in water. You can put as a cutting, root it, and then let it root, and then plant it later on in the pot. Be a little clone. So hopefully this is all coming out. So you see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna pot it real well. Make sure it's in here. You don't want it way above. Make a little moat. Make a little moat. gently. You know, I followed Bob Ross for years. I love Bob Ross. It was such a tragedy. He died years ago. I actually did some paintings, and I always remember when I do plants and so forth that there's no accidents. There's happy accidents, and there's no mistakes in nature. So if you plant your Coleus and maybe it's a little crooked, don't worry about it. That's nature. You look around, look at trees. They're not perfect. They're bent over here and there. You know, we can intercede. I've seen people, neighbors, strap trees over, landscaper, tree experts, to maybe guide a tree away from the house or something like that as it grows. But in general, that's nature. So we got that. It's potted. Got a little bit of time release fertilizer, general purpose. Don't use flower food. Don't use myricid. Don't use vegetable food. Just get general purpose plant food. Time release pellets. And just sprinkle a little bit around. Because now we're getting towards spring. And this thing is going to really respond now. And then water it through. Make sure your pots are well watered. They have drain holes, well drained, I should say. And that's it. This is going to be a fabulous plant. If you're following along, stay tuned. This will be featured all spring and summer, and you just wait what I have planned for this plant. And I got some seed stalks from it too. I got 2 very large seeds, or 3 seed stalks, well matured seed stalks, sitting, getting dried out now. So I actually have the seeds to this, which is good because genetically this is a very strong plant. So it would be correct to assume, not always guaranteed, that the seeds from the plant are going to be equally strong. So they have good genes. So this is a really fabulous colossal marble. And I love the coloring. So, all right, so we're going to give this some water. I'm going to water it enough that it runs through slightly to the bottom to make sure all of the soil is packed right. And add soil if I need. I don't really see that I need to. And let's head inside, and I'll show you the Clementine tree and my Coleus germinations. All right, everybody. There he is, Bob Grant. So I ordered this Clementine tree. It's a 4-foot Clementine, fast growing, easy to peel Clementine tree. And I ordered this pot. They had this pot on sale too. So I couldn't pass it up, and it came with organic potting mixture and the root stimulator, which you put a little of the organic potting mixture at the bottom, put the root ball that it comes in, put the root stimulator on the bottom where the root ball will go, put the plant in, and then backfill all around, sprinkle some of the fruit fertilizer pellets along the soil, and then water well until it runs out the bottom, but not saturated, but watered well. And we're going to keep this, has this support stake on. We're going to keep that on for a while. Actually going to call them or email them and ask them what their recommendation is, because this is my first fruit tree. So what their recommendation is on keeping this stake in the soil. Again, it is wood, so I'm concerned about the nitrogen, taking the nitrogen, but it may have to stay in a week until the plant is settled into the roots. So, but I'm excited. I may not get fruit this year, but once the spring and summer come, I'm gonna put it out and harden it, just like regular plants, just like our Coleus. Hardening, again, is when you're intending to put plants outdoors, don't put them right outside. Let them, after your frost date, the final frost date, which is beginning of May, and temperatures are warm enough, above 60, 65, put your plants out for a couple hours a day, every day for about 2 weeks, and then they'll be used to being outdoors. So that's hardening, just a little summary I touched on earlier. But I'm excited to have my Clementine tree. So probably next year, unless I get lucky and it bears fruit this year. I don't think so because it is a young, but this is a 4-foot sapling. So excited about that. Hey, if anybody is into fruit trees and you have any pointers, you can educate me. I appreciate that. Just drop a comment below and we'll see what we do here. Looking forward to having this Clementine fruit tree. So let's go take a look at the Coleus germinations real quick. Okay, so as you can see, everything I took the domes off just now for purposes of the video so you guys can see how they are going. Be patient. They're not going to explode overnight. Don't expect colors yet. It's still early. Now I'm going to make sure. Now this I have grow light city going on here. I'm really giving them a lot of grow lights. These are LED, very safe, energy efficient. So I have them. I'm using them, and it really makes a difference. Probably going to reseed some of these that have not germinated. Don't worry about that. If that happens to you, it happens to me. It's the nature of the biz. Sorry, this LED, this arm here keeps out of focusing me. So there we go. You can see these are the cotyledons that I was telling you about, the little radar dishes. And these, let's see if we can zoom in. Maybe we have a plant coming in, but those are the little radar dishes that are drawing in the energy that's feeding the plant. Now, this one here, you can actually see a little plant coming out the center. That's the real Coleus. That's the true plant. So give them time. You're going to see in another week or so, we're going to start to see some of the true colors, the true leaves, I should say, coming out. Down here, same thing. You can see those ones in the center are a little dry, so I'm going to just drop, and there's some that have not germinated yet. So now this tray I seeded a few days after the other one, so and I still actually haven't dropped any seeds there, so I need to do that. I got sort of interrupted, but no worries, no worries. I'm gonna let any of these pods that have not germinated, we'll drop some new seeds on. Same thing here. I don't use that top. I use the saran wrap. But now that the seeds have germinated, number one, remove the heat mats. Number two, get that oxygen going in. Keep your grow lights on 24 hours a day for now. And then I'll let you know soon you're going to want to introduce the day to night cycle where they're going to sleep. You turn your grow lights off at 10 o'clock before you go to bed and have them turn back on in the morning when you wake up. Just get your plants ready for life. Sunrise, sunset. So keep going. If you're not sure, like see those are dry in the center there. Perhaps that's why they haven't germinated, because it's just not moist enough. I'm going to drop some water on there. We'll see how those go. I'm going to put the cover back on, but very lightly on. I'm going to have it opened up. I'll show before we close. It'll still be on to maintain the moisture, but opened enough so that air gets in, so we get air circulation, because air is very important for the growth as well. So if you're following along and you're seeding the same time as I do, you should be at this point. If you're not, don't worry. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. There's some variables involved, and there's a little colossal marble that I seeded that's coming along pretty well. So really excited. We're getting our Coleus, our 2023 crop is really on the move here. And I just got the my new trays for next season, and I posted a short earlier last week that Ferry Morse, that's Ferry Morse, like Morse code, ferrymorse.com has a sale going on, and you can get a 50 Jiffy greenhouse tray kit on sale. It's like half price, and also the 72 count, it's like half price. So I got 2 50s and 2 72s for the next year and the year after. So Okay, so here we are. We have our, let's open this up a little bit, get some sun in here. This is a great window. This is just a fabulous window. The ocean is straight ahead. On the other side of that fence is a little street and there's the ocean. I have no buildings to block the sun. I get lots of sun here. I'm facing the southeast towards the Atlantic Ocean. I get fabulous sun in this bay window and the plants know it. So here is that colossal marble that we just planted, or repotted rather. So it's got a really nice location here. One thing about the fruit trees, they need as much light as possible. So I'm probably going to move it over towards the greenhouse where the grow lights are to give them that extra, give that extra light tonight when the sun sets. Also, got to be real bit careful with this. It says not to put it away from heat registers, so they may not like that. So I have to read up more on it. So again, if you have fruit trees, if you grow fruit trees, and you have any suggestions, I really would appreciate that. Any comments below, any pointers on getting this thing jump started, making sure that we have some fruit or that it lives. Okay, so here we go. This is what you need to do with your, just in closing, I had mentioned earlier, you want to get air in there, pop the top, put your top back on, but don't seal it. Pop it over. This is after you remove them from the heat mats when your germinations are showing. Keep this tray cover on, but make sure it's popped over so you get air circulating in there. Same thing down here. This one here I have actually open. It's fine, but this helps to retain a lot of the moisture. You don't want your pods to dry out completely, and they'll dry out very fast. If I've just left the top, the dome, I mean, I could do that. No one says you have to leave it on, but it just makes it a little easier to retain the moisture in the pods. Otherwise, I'd be watering these things every day, especially here because I have the heat register. So I keep the dome partially on, and it still kind of gives them a little bit of protection, gives them that little bit of an ecosystem. And again, check your pods regularly. The ones on the outer edge generally will dry out faster. I know I had a few in the center that dried out first, but they actually, I think I just never gave them enough water to begin with, so that's why. Because they generally don't dry out in the center fast, because the center ones will absorb the water from the other pods around them. So that was a little unusual. But just keep your trays partially on so you get oxygen in there. And just to keep doing what you're doing. Again, do not fertilize. You do not fertilize these. Just let them, the little cotyledons, let the radar dishes work. And you'll see they'll start to grow in. Another couple of weeks, another week or so, you'll start to see your real plants come in. And we'll be shooting videos regular until then. Okay, so thanks for watching Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Thanks for following along. Keep going if you're following along with your plants and your germinations. Any questions? Again, I'm always available to you either here or on Instagram. Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.